Before we get into the show, check out this message from our sponsor. Hey guys, I just want to give a shout out to the Genie Company for sponsoring the show, because without them it wouldn't be possible. They have really done a good job of helping support all the things that we try to do here at Such Media. And so there's a couple things I want to just make sure you're aware of. My favorite thing about Genie is the customer service, the communication, and the distribution, because those things are important to me. But there's two things that when talking to them, they felt like would be important. Number one is their home automation partnerships. It's growing every day and they're being more innovative and they are moving fast in this field. So I definitely want you to check those out. And then also the wide array of products. We just actually, we're in our training center, got the 4124 here to install and play with. It's not a motor that we were familiar with because we installed the 3120 HB, but we're trying to mix it up a little bit. We've been talking to our rep for over a year about this model and we love it. So we're actually just placed an order for the new 4124s, and you will notice that there's a lot of options on this thing. So you can go from like builder grade all the way up to like Mac Daddy. And there's some features about the 4124 that's unique to just about any other opener. So make sure you check out their wide array of offerings with different motors.
I'm working on a couple bids, working on Monday.com, where I'm updating all the sales. That way Ryan can look at it and yell at me later for not updating something. So what are you gonna put in there? Everything?
Probably not everything. Only the cream of the crop.
That way Ryan can look at it and yell at me later.
I'm not very camera friendly, so.
What? Legit.
It was very hungry.
Yeah.
I hate being on camera. Good, how are you?
What you working on?
Just my normal day-to-day. Thank you for calling Aaron Overhead Doors. This is Bree. How can I help you? I take all the calls that come in and out, schedule jobs, a little bit of other stuff. Still a little bit slow after the holidays, but we're starting to pick up. We stay busy for the most part, so. I just feel like most people tend to let it go a little bit longer sometimes during the holidays. There's another one. Oh, there we go.
We'll let you go.
Thank you for calling Aaron Overhead Doors. This is Bree. How can I help you?
How are you?
Doing good, how about you?
Good.
Yeah, fist bump. I'm currently just working on the Aaron Overhead site right now.
Yeah?
Just working on the new Shopify setup. So we're trying to just rank for some more images on Google, trying to get a little bit more presence for certain keywords. We think this experience will be good for customers. Yeah, they'll be able to add a quote, request a quote from the site, and then Ryan will receive a quote, or Aaron Overhead will receive a quote, and then they'll reach out to them and go through the whole process.
Cool, man.
Cool.
Good to it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, go.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
I guess it's dirty.
You don't have to clean up for us.
So what do I do?
Well, what are you working on today?
I'm building a call to action for Army of Davids, so people can buy new garage doors. Just like design your new garage door with Foreman, click here, and then it brings up this door designer tool so people can start the process before he even gets in their garage. And when you click on it, it'll open a new tab. That's all she wrote. I'm glad you didn't give me any notice though. It would have been much worse. It would have been way worse than that.
So now we know which company gets all the money.
Yeah.
Branded logos when you walk in.
Hey, listen,
there were some pens on the desk in there.
We're free. Sorry. Got a little video studio.
The bigger office.
Yeah, the big office.
When you guys start our apprentice program, so they come over here and we have them try to memorize the part names and what they are. Then we collect them and they got to try to put them like little flashcards so they can learn what all goes into a hardware box.
We see this and we know it's a bearing, and you hope that everyone knows that that's a bearing, but in reality, most people don't.
It's easy for me to do stuff like this because I came from outside the industry. Yeah. So I understand the mindset of someone who's trying to figure everything out. It's like one of my favorite things. other than the automatic door lock hitting the wall button
To make it
close
just
the door.
continue to do cycles.
So yeah, outside reverse pickup, outside pickup, and then standard. But it's so much easier at eye level to explain everything.
Yeah.
We can run, get it to throw codes and have them fix them. And then we have a rolling steel fire door where we can train guys on how to do drop test. And all the smart asses online, they always say, oh, it's on wood, so it fails.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't break it down and put it back up on the concrete.
You know, one of the things I would do in this, right, is this is great, you want to show it to them, put some drywall and see how good a guy is. You don't want some guy out there with, he puts 40 holes in there and he's like, let's do it from here. You know, and the homeowner comes out and they're like, what did you just do to my ceiling? So I would drywall a section. You want them to hear that sound, right? When they're tapping it with a hammer, you know, put a cloth over it, you know.
So we've pretty much turned that whole half just into storage for commercial.
Who's waving it?
It's mine. It's not running.
Put your toys in front of the guys.
Why?
No, I kid you not. Like, in reality, you know, people are always like, I don't want the guys to know that. But you do want them to know, because that's what people are working hard, right? To get that same mentality. People always say to me like, oh, I wouldn't drive my Corvette to work, right? But no, I'm doing
I think that's a two-step process. As long as you're providing your guys and you're treating them right.
You know, I have a lot of guys that have worked for us for 25 years, and they'll come in and they'll say, oh, you know, so-and-so, you know, I'll drive, you know, the wife's Mercedes, and they're like, oh, he got a new car. And the older guys are like, I hope he comes in a new car every day, because that's the only way I know I got a job the next day. If he comes in a 1990 beater, I can promise you, we're losing our job. So I love when my guys come in a brand new truck, man, I'm promoting the show. I'm like, hey, Jim got a new truck. You know, it's always clean. And I'm like, it's great you kept your truck clean. The one you drive for me looks like shit. You know, the guys will start their trucks, right, and warm them up. You want to end that process when you know they're coming back on their Geo tractor, go out and start all their personal trucks. That's their gas, right? They pull in and their truck's running, they're like, hey, my truck's been running. You're like, I just thought you wanted it to be warm. Because you didn't turn mine off for 10 hours. Not one time. You left it running, because we can see all that, right? And I'm like, so yours has been running for 3 hours. When you have 12 hours of idle time in a day, and you're paying $14,000 a month for fuel, you're like, hey guys, try to own something, right? Own one thing. Be really good at that one thing. That's what I always tell people. You know, you can be a business owner, right, and not be very good at anything. You're good at marketing the business, right? You have that marketing, you have that sales. I would tell you, don't go be an installer. You're not good at that. No. You're not handy enough. I can tell that just by watching. So don't let them be good at that, right? And that's why I tell people all the time, I was worrying about everyone. I was worrying about sales. I was worrying about installers. Let somebody else worry about those things, and let those people do that. So be good at what you're good at. And I would say that with advertising. Just be good at one thing. Just kill it. And if it doesn't work, throw it back and punt, right? Yeah. In reality is everyone thinks a garage door is that right there. That's what they think it is. Just some van door with nothing in it. That showroom is awesome. Quit calling it a showroom. Start calling it a design center. Women love design centers. They love designer clothes. Everything that says designer. I got the designer Mercedes. I got this. A showroom is what their husband does at Home Depot. That's in their mind. So that's why we've changed that. It's a design showroom. So get rid of the showroom. Just call it a design center. People love design centers. Oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm going down to Aaron Overhead Doors Design Center. And then promote that in your commercial. Come down to our design center and check it out. People love that. What we have found is if we go down there, right? And I'm no different than anybody else, right? We walk in somewhere, my wife gets to touch and pick. I'm paying for whatever she's, because she's like, oh, I like that.
Yeah. We add that. Yeah, add that.
If I told her to go get her car online, we'd have come home with a Honda Accord. Took her down to the Mercedes dealership, right? Yeah. We left with the most expensive car they had in the lot.
She got to pick the extra wheels if she wanted.
She was like, I like that. I like it. She just ran around like a kid in a candy store. She goes, well, what do we do? I'm like, what do you? She's like, I love it. As soon as she said she loved it, I looked at the dude and I was like, go get the paperwork.
You're either signing or you're moving out.
I went down there to show her a car. Our lease still had 4 months on it. I went home with the Mercedes. No, I'm sorry. They brought it to our house that night, put it in the garage, and took hers. I was like, he's like, oh, I just need to check when you get there. Bet you do. Bet you do. Is that how that works? But so that but again, your guys' showroom, you guys should be really dry, and because nobody else has one around here, right?
Yeah. No. Well, there's some in Atlanta, but there's definitely not any out in Milton.
I was gonna say you said that there's 100 dealers in Buford, right?
It feels like it, yeah.
How many of those guys have showrooms?
None.
Nothing like that.
Okay, but how many have showrooms? So if no.
Got like a schedule by appointment showroom, but they're literally just using it for digital assets.
And it's like the doors like we used to do. It's a stationary door on some dollies that they can move and kind
Yeah,
of show.
it's not nice. Like
It's like a carpet. So.
You might think about putting one here. Make yourself different, right? You all of a sudden now you're the big fish in a really large pond, and so you're the guy. Give them something they can't get from someone else. So just because he's been around a long time, if I can't come out and see it, I'm not buying it. So you want me to buy a $10,000 garage door, and it's this big. Here, they're like, oh, that's nice. My wife's not buying that. She wants to come in and say, what's $10,000 get me? You know?
Do you want to run to Milton?
Yeah, sure.
Like a 45-minute podcast, just talk about like things that we.
So this is it though, bro. Clean, simple.
Yep, great.
I took some inspiration from like the Apple stores. I wanted white. I wanted the color to come from the product and accent stuff like furniture, and have the focal point be the doors.
They have events with all their advertisers, and we get to meet all the designers
in the back. We have like this, let's say a magazine does that, and you can go to these galas and all these different things and wine nights, and
we would probably have to use the front and this maybe get some tents or something. I don't know, but
go in with everybody. Have everybody here just do one, and so the women can go down and see about getting the extensions and doing all the other stuff, and then have yours open and just have it open house and say, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a certain amount of hors d'oeuvres, or do like a bourbon tasting, and each place has a different bourbon, but do it all together. That way then use the front and have people standing out there, and all throw it together and say, okay, let's cater some food around. Have people walking around from inside each one, giving food and drink. I think if everybody, if you say, hey, everybody's throwing in $1,500, I think we can get a lot of food and drink for $1,500.
Yeah.
It's not like you're trying to sell something, not
and
competing.
they meet in this area, which is nice too.
Yeah.
And that Starbucks is done, right?
Yeah.
He might say, I'll be a part of it. He doesn't necessarily need to have it over there. He just needs to bring some Starbucks over here and tell people where he's at.
The area has a very boutique feel.
Yeah.
Very boutique. For garage doors, it's difficult to do.
I was going for simple, clean, high-end.
The first lady that probably really called us out in a positive way on a job site from coming here, we were putting an insulated for sound, insulated glass door in her basement in her kids' playroom. We were like, okay, we're hitting the people we want to hit.
Yeah.
Like, you're buying high-end garage doors for your playroom downstairs.
And the average home here, like where we live in Gwinnett, you'll have either like a 16x7 or two 8x7s is predominantly what's there. Here you'll have 3 9x8s or an 18x8 and 2 9x8s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got 4 or 5 spots instead of just 1 or 2 where we live. So the average house out here, I would say, is probably almost double the amount of garage space than we have.
If I was you guys, I would go out to houses in this area that you put in, and they're awesome display. They're cool looking doors.
Yeah. That's why I would like to push more people here, because those 2 a week we get so many wows out of them. I didn't know this was here. Like this is so cool to see different options like this.
You don't need to show every single thing you have.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. Yeah. But he was mounted on the side of the building. I'm like, that looks so tacky, dude.
So right now we have it on a rotation where it just shows different jobs that we've installed, like visuals for the types of doors that we do. And then at night, because we have a lot of foot traffic, we like to pull it out and just tilt it towards the window, so it's easily looked at and draws more attention to when people going by. So the builder that called us on this job right here, we did 5 custom
mahogany wood doors. He wanted mahogany because he's got carpenter bees. And it's more dense and harder for them to penetrate. There's another builder we use, a commercial builder. Yeah, his house is here. This is a detached garage that he built, and we just sold him more glass doors for the house. Should be going in soon. Is that some of the ones that just came in? These don't do them justice. This is why I don't like carrying the plank doors for CHI samples, because I can't see the pattern well enough to be able. And then we called Ranch House. And so I was selling Amar and Ranch House, and that was fresh out of the gate. And my first Ranch House job, I sold 5 custom wood doors and 2 polyurethane doors on the same house. That was the biggest job. I was 6 months old. I freaking measured that job like 3 times. I was like, hey, do you mind if I come back out? She's like, yeah, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I just want to triple check my measurements. She's like, okay, come on.